What if you could invest in the fastest growing companies, and safely too? But how can you invest in these companies without facing loss? That's where the high-growth exchange-traded funds come in. High-growth exchange-traded funds are one of the best vehicles to pocket profit while staying on the safer side of the spectrum. But what are those high-growth ETFs that you should invest in? Countless ETFs exist, and you have to be careful while selecting them. In this video, we will tell you about the top 5 high-growth ETFs to buy in 2023. Stick until the end of the video to know which high-growth ETF suits you the best. Let's get started. Number 5. SPDR Portfolio S&P 500 Growth ETF. Not all ETFs invest directly in the high-growth stocks of giant companies. Instead, they invest in the indexes. In turn, these indexes have their capital invested in the fastest-growing companies, limiting the risks involved. SPDR Portfolio S&P 500 Growth ETF is the similar one that holds positions in S&P 500 Growth Index. In other words, this ETF tracks the S&P 500 Growth Index, becoming eligible to reap profits whenever the S&P 500 Growth Index grows. But why should this ETF be considered an option? The answer lies in the phenomenal returns it has brought in the past 5 years, reaching 14%. The interesting fact is that the returns have been kept high for even the last 10 years, averaging 14.49%. Number 4. Ishares Russell 1000 Growth ETF. Ishares Russell 1000 Growth ETF is the one that invests its capital directly into the fastest-growing mid-cap and large-cap U.S. companies. Even though this ETF has a large weightage of mid-cap companies, it has one of the famous large-cap companies for maximum returns and to balance risk. A large portion of this ETF holds positions in Apple, Microsoft Corporation, and Amazon, increasing returns to a maximum level. In other words, 26% of this ETF is invested in only these 3 companies, promising higher returns than normal. In the past 5 years, Ishares Russell 1000 Growth ETF has offered 14.57% returns, while in the last 10 years, the returns averaged 14.83%. All these factors make this ETF one of the top options to consider for massive returns. Before we continue further, tell us, are you loving the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about the stock market and investment. Let's now continue. Number 3. Vanguard Mega Cap Growth ETF. Something to note here is that high-growth ETFs have precise calculations about where to invest. In other words, they care more about making the right investments in assets to reap high returns. This is visible by seeing that their return records never decline. Rather, they always approach heights higher than the last year. One of those ETFs is Vanguard Mega Cap Growth ETF, which simply has its capital invested in CRSP US Mega Cap Growth Index. By investing in such an index, this ETF ensures returns keep increasing since the index has maintained a phenomenal growth record. The index where this ETF has its capital invested ensures a foolproof growth in earnings per share, sales per share, and returns on assets. The reason is that the index's capital is invested in the top 70% of fastest-growing companies in the U.S. The reason why this ETF can bring high returns is, in the last 5 years, its returns have averaged 14.36%, while in the last 10 years, returns are at 14.63%. Here's where this ETF becomes the top pick for high returns in the future. Number 2. Ishares Russell Top 200 Growth ETF. Besides the highest returns this ETF offers, the biggest reason to invest in Ishares Russell Top 200 Growth ETF is its investment in the largest 200 companies of the Russell 3000 Index. To ensure returns and buffer risks, this ETF has $4.9 billion invested in assets, promising stable returns. Comparing this ETF with others, even if it's offering constant returns, the returns are at the highest point of 16.68% in the past 5 years. Even if the return crossed the 15% mark, the companies this ETF has invested in are on track to grow faster, and in return, bring more returns. And number 1, Invesco SP 500 GARP ETF. Invesco SP 500 GARP ETF tops the list because its capital is invested in the top 75 record-breaking securities. These 75 holdings have maintained high-quality scores and high growth ratings, becoming the top ones in their arena. And when this ETF invests in all of them at the same time, the expected returns are multiplied by the returns all of these securities bring. When you invest in Invesco SP 500 GARP ETF, you qualify to get all returns that the record-maintaining high-growth securities have been offering for years. It's evident in the last 5 years' returns that averaged at 15.57%, while the last 10 years' returns stand at 15.19%, making it the top ETF to invest in. Which of these high-growth ETFs would you be buying? To ensure you buy them when the prices are high, you need to decide and make your move sooner than later. Comment right below in the comment section. Would you want to invest in individual high-growth stocks of the ETFs? Well, ETFs let you invest in hundreds of stocks at the same time while balancing the risk. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos about investment. Until the next video, stay tuned.